If you're thinking about getting the new iPhone 17 Pro, wait until you watch this video because I'm gonna share with you 7 things I hate about it. I spent over $1,300 on the new iPhone 17 Pro, and after using it for about 2 weeks, I found some things that really annoy me about it. So before you upgrade, here are some things that you need to know. Okay, so the first thing is the price tag. The iPhone 17 Pro starts higher than previous models when they launched. Apple actually bumped up the price to $1,099 for the iPhone 17 Pro and $1,199 for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. That's an extra $100 from the previous models. In my opinion, it's getting a little harder to call it an iPhone upgrade when it's actually really close to buying a laptop. The base storage is fine, but if you're a content creator and need more storage on your phone, the price can easily go to the $1,800 to $2,000 range, which is the same as a MacBook Pro. And let's not forget that accessories are not included. For that price tag, I think that Apple should at least include a fast charging cable and a charging block, which takes me to the second thing, which is the price of accessories. To get the best out of your new iPhone, you have to spend extra. Let's start with the fact that Apple doesn't give you a charging block. In my opinion, that's a necessity. And if you want it, you have to buy it separately. The new iPhone supports Thunderbolt speeds, but the cable in the box is just a regular USB-C cable. If you want the fast charging cable, that's an extra $69. MagSafe accessories like cases, wallets, and chargers cost premium. Plus, if you feel like you need Apple Care, that's an extra $10 to $15 per month. So yeah, buying the new iPhone doesn't mean just buying the new phone. It can mean buying all the little extras just to use the phone to its full potential. Now, the third thing is the color choices. With the new Pro models, you only have 3 color choices: the Cosmic Orange, the Deep Blue, and the Silver color. These color options are not good in my opinion, and it kind of feels that they're more masculine, except for the silver one. I think that for this premium phone, they should include at least 2 neutral colors, which is what most people use. I do think that there's people who like to go wild and get colors like the Cosmic Orange, for example, but I think that majority of users just like neutral, simple colors. Meanwhile, the iPhone 17 gets all the cool colors. Apple decided to save all the cool colors for the base model iPhones. The fourth thing is that the AI features are not fully backed yet. Apple hyped up so much Apple Intelligence, which is on-device AI that can summarize your text, rewrite your emails, edit your photos, but right now it's only available in English and only on certain regions. So if you're outside of those regions, you don't even get to use half of what was promised. And even if you do get those features, they still feel unfinished. The text summaries are not very accurate, and sometimes the AI generated photos feel fake. Plus, you're not allowed to use those features in every app. They only work in Apple's own apps, like Mail, Notes, and iMessages. The fifth thing is that the camera bump is huge. The iPhone 17 Pro cameras are absolutely incredible, but that comes with a trade-off. The bump on the back is bigger than ever before. Apple calls it the camera plateau, and while it could look futuristic, it just sticks out a lot. If you put your phone down on a desk, it will rock back and forth if you tap on the screen. And if I'm completely honest, the bigger the bump, the more it sticks out. I think this makes the lenses more vulnerable to scratches and cracks, which is kind of scary considering how much it would be to repair it. The sixth thing is that center stage isn't always perfect. The center stage uses your front camera to keep you in frame while doing video calls. It's cool in theory, but sometimes it overreacts. And sometimes it's the opposite. It takes a second too long to catch up when you move, and if more than one person is in the frame, center stage doesn't always know who to focus on. And honestly, I think that most of the time you do not need it, because if you're sitting still on a phone call, it's more of a gimmick than a real feature. And in most cases, it actually makes the video look worse. Now, let's talk about the seventh thing, which is the software lock-in. But why do I mean by this? Well, Apple pushes you hard on using their own apps. Safari for browsing, iMessage for texting, Apple Photos for storage, etc. Yes, you can download alternatives, but Apple's apps will always get deeper integrations and smoother performance, which makes it really hard to fully switch to something else. iMessage is the biggest one. It works flawlessly with other iPhones, but if you try to text something on Android, you're back to basic SMS. No high quality videos, no read receipts, and sometimes even broken group chats unless everyone owns an iPhone. Another one is iCloud dependency. The iPhone basically forces you into iCloud for backups, photos, and syncing across devices. Let's not forget that the free tier is super tiny and you'll almost have to pay for extra storage. That's if you want to use the phone the way it's meant to be used. But don't get me wrong, the iPhone 17 base models and the iPhone 17 Pro models are great phones, but these are just some of the things that I do not like about them. And if you want to know if these issues matter on the daily use, make sure to check out my last video, which is my 1-week review using the new iPhone 17 Pro. In this video, I break down what it's like using this phone on a daily basis. I think it can help you decide whether or not to upgrade. I'm gonna leave it on the screen so you can watch it next.